Hendrik Johannes Cruijff OON, born April 25, 1947, known as Johan Cruyff, is a former Dutch footballer and was until recently the manager of the Catalonia football team. He won the Ballon d'Or 3 times, in 1971, 1973 and 1974, which was a record jointly held with Michel Platini, Marco van Basten, and Lionel Messi until Messi won his 4th award in 2012. Cruyff was one of the most famous exponents of the football philosophy known as total football explored by Rinus Michels, and is widely regarded as one of the greatest players in football history. He led the Netherlands national team to the final of the 1974 FIFA World Cup and received the Golden Ball as player of the tournament. At club level, Cruyff started his career at Ajax where he won 8 Eredivisie titles and 3 European Cups. In 1973 he moved to FC Barcelona for a world record transfer fee, winning La Liga in his first season and was named European Footballer of the Year. After retiring from playing in 1984, Cruyff became highly successful as manager of Ajax and later FC Barcelona. He remains an influential advisor to both clubs. His son Jordi has also gone on to play football professionally. In 1999, Cruyff was voted European Player of the Century in an election held by the IFFHS, and came second behind Pele Copyright in their World Player of the Century poll. He came third in a vote organized by the French magazine France Football consulting their former Ballon d'Or winners to elect their Football Player of the Century. He was chosen on the World Team of the 20th Century in 1998, the FIFA World Cup Dream Team in 2002, and in 2004 was named as one of the top 125 greatest living footballers as part of FIFA's 100th anniversary celebration. Considered as one of the most influential figures in football history, Cruyff's style of play and his football philosophy has had considerable influence on many notable football managers and players such as Frank Rijkaard, Josep Guardiola, Michael Laudrup, Arsene Wenger, Eric Cantona and Xavi Hernandez. The Spanish football's significant successes at both club and international level during the years of 2008 to 2012 have been said by many as the verification of Cruyff's impacts on contemporary football. Style of play: through his career, Cruyff became synonymous with the playing style of total football. It is a system where a player who moves out of his position is replaced by another from his team, thus allowing the team to retain their intended organizational structure. In this fluid system, no footballer is fixed in their intended outfield role. Anyone can be successively an attacker, a midfielder and a defender. The style was honed by Ajax coach Rinus Michels, with Cruyff the on-field conductor. The team orchestrator, Cruyff was a playmaker, ammunition provider and marksman with a gift for timing passes. Nominally, Cruyff played centre-forward in this system, but he would drop deep to confuse his markers or suddenly move to the wing to great effect. No one had seen a centre-forward play in this manner before. Due to the way Cruyff played the game, he is still referred to as the total footballer. Former French player Eric Cantona states, "Cruyff was the best. He was a creator. He was at the heart of a revolution with his football. Ajax changed football and he was the leader of it all. If he wanted he could be the best player in any position on the pitch." Cruyff was known for his technical ability, speed, acceleration and dribbling, but his greatest quality was vision, based on an acute sense of his teammates' positions as an attack unfolded. The sports writer David Miller believed Cruyff superior to any previous player in his ability to extract the most from others. He dubbed him Pythagoras and Boots for the complexity and precision of his angled passes and wrote, "Few have been able to exact, both physically and mentally, such mesmeric control on a match from one penalty area to another." According to England's 1966 World Cup winning legend Sir Bobby Charlton, Cruyff was pretty intelligent too. A real football brain. He had superb control, he was inventive and he could perform magic with a ball to get himself out of trouble instinctively. He got a lot of goals, and although he was so skillful, he didn't unregistered trademark to show off he played to the strengths of the players around him. This side would really keep hold of the ball. Cruyff also perfected a move now known as the Cruyff turn. To do this move, Cruyff would look to pass or cross the ball. Instead of kicking it, he would drag the ball behind his planted foot with the inside of his other foot, turn through 180 degrees, and accelerate away outside a defender. Club career, Ajax. Cruyff joined Ajax youth system on his 10th birthday. He played football and baseball, showing talent both on the mound pitching and behind the plate as a catcher, before having to leave the club's baseball section at age 15 to focus on football. He made his team debut on November 15, 1964 in the Eredivisie, against GVAV, scoring the only goal for Ajax in a 3-1 defeat. That year Ajax finished in their lowest position since the establishment of professional football, 13th. Cruyff really started to make an impression in the 1965-66 season. Cruyff established himself as a regular first-team player after scoring 2 goals against Wilskracht Sterk in the Olympic Stadium on October 24, 1965 in a 2-0 victory. In the 7 games that winter he scored 8 times, and in March 1966, he scored the first 3 goals in a league game against Telstar in a 6-2 win. 4 days later, in a cup game against Veendam in a 7-0 win, he scored 4 goals. In total that season, Cruyff scored 25 goals in 23 games, and Ajax won the league championship. In the 1966-67 season, Ajax again won the league championship, but also won the KNVB Cup, for Cruyff's first double. Cruyff ended the season as the leading goal scorer in the Eredivisie with 33. Cruyff won the league for the 3rd successive year in the 1967-68 season. He was also named Dutch Footballer of the Year for the 2nd successive time, a feat he would repeat in 1969. On May 28, 1969, Cruyff played in his first European Cup final against Milan, but the Italians won 4-1. In the 1969-70 season, Cruyff won his 2nd league and cup double, but at the beginning of the 1970-71 season, Cruyff suffered a long-term groin injury. He made his comeback on October 30, 1970 against PSV. In this game, he did not wear his usual number 9, which was in use by Jeremiah ๊joːɦɑn, but instead used number 14. Ajax won 1-0. Although it was very uncommon in those days for the starters of a game not to play with numbers 1 to 11, from that moment onwards, Cruyff's number was 14, even using the number with the Dutch national team. There has even been a documentary on Cruyff titled Number 14 Johan Cruyff, and in the Netherlands there is a magazine by Votable International titled Number 14. In a league game against AZ67 on November 29, 1970, Cruyff scored no less than 6 goals in an 8-1 victory. After winning a replayed KNVB Cup final against Sparta Rotterdam by a score of 2-1, Ajax won in Europe for the first time. On June 2, 1971, in London, Ajax won the European Cup by defeating Panathinaikos 2-0. In spite of speculation that Cruyff would move to another club on July 12, 1971, he signed a 7-year contract at Ajax. At the end of the season, he became not only the Dutch, but also the European Footballer of the Year for 1971. 1972 was a particularly successful year for Ajax and Cruyff. Ajax won a 2nd European Cup, beating Internazionale 2-0 in the final, with Cruyff scoring both goals. This victory prompted Dutch newspapers to announce the demise of the Italian style of defensive football in the face of total football. Soccer, the ultimate encyclopedia says, single-handed, Cruyff not only pulled Internazionale of Italy apart in the 1972 European Cup final, but scored both goals in Ajax's 2-0 win. Cruyff also scored in the 3-2 victory over ADO Den Haag in the KNVB Cup final. In the league, Cruyff was the top scorer with 25 goals as Ajax became champions. In the autumn, Ajax won the Intercontinental Cup, beating Argentina's Independiente 1-1 in the first game followed by 3-0, and then in January 1973, they won the European Super Cup by beating Rangers 3-1 away and 3-2 in Amsterdam. Curiously, Cruyff's only own goal came on August 20, 1972 against FC Amsterdam. A week later, Against go-ahead Eagles in a 6-0 win, Cruyff scored 4 times for Ajax. The 1972-73 season was concluded with another league championship victory and a third successive European Cup with a 1-0 win over Juventus in the final, with the encyclopedia stating Cruyff inspired one of the greatest 20-minute spells of football ever seen. Barcelona. In the summer of 1973, Cruyff was sold to Barcelona for 6 million guilder in a world record transfer fee. On August 19, 1973, he played his last match for Ajax where they defeated Amsterdam 6-1, the second match of the 1973-74 season. He further endeared himself when he chose a Catalan name, Jordi, for his son. He helped the club win La Liga for the first time since 1960, along the way defeating their deadliest rivals Real Madrid 5-0 at their home of Bernabéu. Copyright U. Thousands of Barcelona fans who watched the match on television poured out of their homes to join in street celebrations. A New York Times journalist wrote that Cruyff had done more for the spirit of the Catalan people in 90 minutes than many politicians in years of struggle. Football historian Jimmy Burns stated, "A Euro with Cruyff, the team felt they couldn't unregistered trademark lose a Euro. He gave them speed, flexibility and a sense of themselves." In 1974 Cruyff was crowned European Footballer of the Year. During his time at Barcelona, Cruyff scored one of his most famous goals, the Phantom goal. In a game against Atletico Madrid, Cruyff leapt into the air, twisted his body so he was facing away from the goal, and kicked the ball past Miguel Reyna in the Atletico Madrid goal with his right heel. The goal was featured in the documentary En un momento dado, in which fans of Cruyff attempted to recreate that moment. The goal has been dubbed La But Impossible de Cruyff. In 1978, Barcelona defeated Las Palmas 3-1, to win the Copa del Rey. Note that Cruyff played 2 games with Paris Saint-Germain in 1975 during the Paris tournament. He had only agreed because he was a fan of designer Daniel Hector, who was then president of PSG. United States. At the age of 32, he signed a lucrative deal with the Los Angeles Aztecs of the North American Soccer League. He had previously been rumored to be joining the New York Cosmos but the deal did not materialize. However, he did play exhibition games for the Cosmos. He stayed at the Aztecs for only 1 season, but was voted NASL Player of the Year in that time. The following season, he moved to play for the Washington Diplomats. He played the whole 1980 campaign for the Diplomats, even as the team was facing dire financial trouble at the time. In May 1981, Cruyff played as a guest player for Milan in a tournament, but was injured. As a result, he missed the beginning of the 1981 NASL soccer season thereafter, which ultimately led to Cruyff choosing to leave the team. Cruyff also loathed playing on artificial surfaces, which were common in the NASL at the time. Levante. In January 1981, Cruyff played 3 friendly matches for FC Dordrecht. Also in January 1981, manager Jock Wallace of English club Leicester City made an audacious attempt to sign Cruyff. Despite negotiations lasting 3 weeks, in which Cruyff expressed his desire to play for the club, a deal could not be reached as he instead chose to sign with Spanish Segunda División side Levante. In March 1981, Cruyff took the field for the first time for Levante. Injuries and disagreements with the administration of the club would blight his spell in the Segunda División, as he was only able to amount 10 appearances after his signing, scoring 2 goals. Having failed to secure promotion to the First Division, Levante did not keep the financial agreements that were specified in Cruyff's contract. Back at Ajax. After his spell in the USA and a short-lived stay at UD Levante in Spain, Cruyff returned to play in his homeland, rejoining Ajax on November 30, 1980 as technical advisor of trainer Leo Beenhakker, Ajax being 8th in the ranking of the table of the Dutch league then after 13 games. Ajax would finish second in 1980 Euro 81 in June 1981 after 34 games. In December 1981, Cruyff signed a new contract as a player for Ajax. His already since November 1980 expected return was on December 6, 1981 against Haarlem. Cruyff scored the first goal. In the 1981 Euro 82 and 1982 Euro 83 seasons, Ajax, along with Cruyff, became league champions. In the 1982 Euro 83 season, Ajax also won the Dutch Cup. One notable incident from this era was a famous goal he scored against Helmond Sport in 1982 while playing for Ajax. Cruyff scored a penalty the same way îjoːɦɑn had already done it 25 years earlier. He put the ball down as for a routine penalty kick, but instead of shooting at goal, Cruyff nudged the ball sideways to his Ajax teammate Jesper Olsen, who in return passed it back to Cruyff, who tapped the ball into the empty net, as Otto Versfeld, the bemused Helmond goalkeeper, looked on. Feyenoord. At the end of the 1982 Euro 83 season, Ajax decided not to offer Cruyff a new contract. This angered Cruyff, who responded by signing for Ajax's arch-rivals Feyenoord. Cruyff's season at Feyenoord was a successful one in which the club won the Eredivisie for the first time in a decade, part of a league and KNVB Cup double. Apart from an angry Cruyff, this was mainly due to the strong playing of Ruud Gullit and Peter Houtman. Despite his relatively advanced age, Cruyff played all league matches that season except for one. Because of his performance on the field, he was voted as Dutch Footballer of the Year for the fifth time. At the end of the season, the veteran announced his final retirement. He ended his Eredivisie playing career on May 13, 1984 with a goal against PEC Zwolle. Cruyff played his last game in Saudi Arabia against Al Ahly SC, bringing Feyenoord back into the game with a goal and an assist. International career. As a Dutch international, Cruyff played 48 matches, scoring 33 goals. The national team never lost a match in which Cruyff scored. In his second match, a friendly against Czechoslovakia, Cruyff was the first Dutch international to receive a red card. He received a one-year suspension from the Royal Dutch Football Association. Accusations of Cruyff's aloofness were not rebuffed by his habit of wearing a shirt with only 2 black stripes along the sleeves, as opposed to Adidas' usual design feature of 3, worn by all the other Dutch players. Cruyff, however, had a separate sponsorship deal with Puma. From 1970 onwards he wore the number 14 jersey for the Netherlands, setting a trend for wearing shirt numbers outside the usual starting lineup numbers of 1 to 11. Cruyff led the Netherlands to a runners-up medal in the 1974 World Cup and was named the player of the tournament. Thanks to his team's mastery of total football, they coasted all the way to the final, knocking out Argentina, East Germany, and Brazil along the way. Cruyff himself scored twice against Argentina in one of his team's most dominating performances, then he scored the second goal against Brazil to knock out the defending champions. The Netherlands faced hosts West Germany in the final. Cruyff kicked off and the ball was passed around the Orange team 13 times before returning to Cruyff, who then went on a rush that eluded Bertie Vogts and ended when he was fouled by Uli Oenia inside the box. Teammate Johan Cruyff scored from the spot kick to give the Netherlands a 1-0 lead, and the Germans had not even touched the ball. During the latter half of the final his influence was stifled by the effective marking of Bertie Vogts, while Franz Beckenbauer, Uli Oenia, and Wolfgang Overath dominated midfield, enabling West Germany to win 2-1. Cruyff received a yellow card during half-time for talking to the referee. Cruyff retired from international football in October 1977, having helped the national team qualify for the upcoming World Cup. Without him, the Netherlands finished runners-up in the World Cup again. Initially the reason given for missing the 1978 World Cup were political reasons, given a military dictatorship was in power in Argentina at that time. In 2008, however, Cruyff stated to the journalist Antoni Bassas in Catalonia Radio that he and his family were subject to a kidnap attempt in Barcelona a year before the tournament, and that this had caused his retirement. To play a World Cup you have to be 200% okay, there are moments when there are other values in life. Managerial career, Ajax. After retiring from playing, Cruyff followed in the footsteps of his mentor Rinus Michels, coaching a young Ajax side to victory in the European Cup Winners' Cup in 1987. In May and June 1985, Cruyff returned to Ajax again. In the 1985 Euro 86 season, the league title was lost to GUUS Hydings PSV, despite Ajax having a goal difference of +85. In the 1985 Euro 86 and 1986 Euro 87 seasons, Ajax won the Dutch Cup. It was during this period as manager that Cruyff was able to implement his favoured team formation, a Euro 3 mobile defenders, plus one more covering space, a Euro becoming, in effect, a defensive midfielder, two controlling midfielders with responsibilities to feed the attack-minded players, one second striker, two touchline-hugging wingers and one versatile centre-forward. So successful was this system that Ajax won the Champions League in 1995 playing Cruyff's system, a Euro, a tribute to Cruyff's legacy as Ajax coach. Barcelona. In 1988, Cruyff returned to FC Barcelona as manager. At Barcelona, Cruyff brought in players such as Pep Guardiola, Jose Copyright Mari Bakero, Txiki Bejaristane, Ion Andoni Goicoechea, Ronald Koeman, Michael Laudrup, Romario, Orfi Hegui, and Hristo Stoichkov. Under Cruyff, Barcelona won La Liga 4 times between 1991 and 1994, and beat Sampdoria in both the 1989 European Cup Winners' Cup final and the 1992 European Cup final at Wembley. They also won a Copa del Rey in 1990, the European Super Cup in 1992 and 3 Supercopa de Espanha as well as finishing runner-up to Manchester United in the 1991 European Cup Winners' Cup final. Cruyff used to smoke 20 cigarettes a day prior to undergoing double heart bypass surgery in 1991 while he was the coach of Barcelona, after which he gave up smoking. He also led the anti-smoking campaign developed by the health department of the Catalan autonomous government. Cruyff juggled a cigarette pack 16 times in an anti-tobacco video sponsored by the Catalan Department of Health. With 11 trophies, Cruyff was Barcelona's most successful manager, but has since been surpassed by his former pupil Pep Guardiola, who achieved 15. He has been the club's longest-serving manager. However, in his final 2 seasons, he failed to win any trophies, and fell out with chairman Josep Luis Nah plus or minuses. Therefore Johan Cruyff was unceremoniously sacked as Barcelona coach by Josep Luis Nunes, and he vowed never to coach again. While at Barcelona, he was in negotiations with the KNVB to manage the national team for the 1994 World Cup finals, but talks broke off at the last minute. His open support helped candidate Joan Laporta to victory in Barcelona's recent presidential elections. He continued to be an advisor for him, although he held no official post at Barcelona. Known as a player's coach with deep convictions with regard to his philosophy of the game, he is considered a visionary, and his presence at Barcelona was said to have changed many things, and this was the beginning of what is known as the Dutch influence at Barcelona. The style of play Cruyff introduced at Barcelona came to be known as tiki-taka and was successfully adopted by the Euro 2008, 2010 World Cup and Euro 2012 winning Spanish national team. On March 26, 2010, Cruyff was named honorary president of Barcelona, in recognition of his contributions to the club as both a player and manager. He was stripped of this title by new president Sandro Rosell in July 2010. Proposed return to Ajax. On February 20, 2008, in the wake of a major research on the 10-year mismanagement, it was announced that Cruyff would be the new technical director at his boyhood club Ajax. This would be his 4th stint at the Amsterdam club. However, Cruyff announced in March that he is pulling out of his planned return to Ajax because of professional difference of opinion between him and Ajax's new manager, Marco van Basten. Van Basten said that Cruyff's plans were going too fast, because he was not so dissatisfied with how things are going now. Catalonia. On November 2, 2009, Cruyff was named as manager of the Catalonia national team in place of Pagrataka Cubdes. It is his first managing job in 13 years. Return to Ajax. On February 11, 2011, Cruyff returned to Ajax on an advisory basis after agreeing to become a member of one of 3 sounding board groups. Chivas de Guadalajara. Cruyff became an advisor for Mexican club Club Deportivo Guadalajara in February 2012. Jorge Vergara, the owner of the club, made him the team's sport consultant in response to the losing record Guadalajara lived in the last few months of 2011. Although signed to a 3-year contract, Cruyff's contract was terminated December 2012, after just 9 months with the club. Guadalajara said that other members of the team's coaching staff will likely not be terminated. Outside football. In the Netherlands, and to some extent Spain, Cruyff is famous for his one-liners that usually hover between brilliant insight and the blatantly obvious. They are famous for their Amsterdam dialect and incorrect grammar, and often feature tautologies and paradoxes. In Spain, his most famous statement is "En un momento dado." The quote has been used for the title of a 2004 documentary about Cruyff's life, Johan Cruyff, En un momento dado. In the Netherlands, his most famous one-liner is "Ieder nadeel heb een voordeel," and his way of expressing himself has been dubbed ʻkrøy. Cruyff rarely limits himself to a single line though, and in a comparison with the equally oracular but reserved football manager Rinus Michels, Kees Vens equated Cruyff's monologues to experimental prose, without a subject, only an attempt to drop words in a sea of uncertainty. There is no full stop. In November 2003, Cruyff invoked legal proceedings against the publisher Tyrion Whitgevers, over its photo book Johan Cruyff de Ajax, which used photographs by Guus de Jong. Cruyff was working on another book, also using de Jong's photographs, and claimed unsuccessfully that Tyrion's book violated his trademark and portrait rights. In 2004, Cruyff ended 6th place in the election of De Groot's Nederlander. In 2010, the asteroid 14,282 Cruijff was named after him. The International Astronomical Union officially ratified the naming of Cruijff on September 23, 2010. After Joost Buijken and Ferenc Puskás, Cruyff is the third football player to have an asteroid named after him. Cruyff had a small hit in the Netherlands with ʻjoːɦɑn upon arriving in Barcelona. The Spanish branch of Polydor decided to release the single in Spain as well, where it was rather popular. Family. On December 2, 1968, Cruyff married Dani Costa. He and Dani have 3 children together, Chantal, Susana, and Jordi. The family has lived in Barcelona since 1973, with a 6-year interruption from December 1981 to January 1988 when they lived in Eindhoven, Netherlands. Cruyff chose the name Jordi for his 3rd child after the patron saint of Catalonia, St. Jordi, or more commonly known as St. George of Lleida in the English language. This was seen as a provocative gesture towards the then Spanish dictator General Franco, who had made all symbols of Catalan nationalism illegal. In fact, Cruyff had to fly Jordi back to the Netherlands to register his birth, as the name Jordi had been banned by the Spanish authorities. Cruyff's decision to go to such great lengths to support Catalan nationalism is part of the reason he's considered such a hero to Barcelona supporters and Catalan nationalists. His son Jordi has played for teams such as Barcelona, Manchester United, Alava Copyright S and Espanyol. Interestingly, the younger Cruyff sports Jordi on his shirt to distinguish himself from his famous father, which also reflects the common Spanish practice of referring to players by given names alone or by nicknames. It is also related to the commercial claim of name and fame of his father to the name Cruyff Cruijff. His grandson, Jesua Angoy, currently plays for the U21 side at Lausanne. Cruyff is an atheist. Honours. In November 2003, to celebrate UEFA's Jubilee, he was selected as the Golden Player of the Netherlands by the KNVB as their most outstanding player of the past 50 years. On May 22, 2006, Cruyff was presented a Lifetime Achievement Award for his contribution to football by Laureus in their annual World Sports Awards. Cruyff received a Lifetime Achievement Award from the KNVB in August 2006. On April 18, 2007, Ajax decided to retire the number 14 shirt in honor of Cruyff and in celebration of his birthday. International goals, scores and results table. Netherlands' goal tally first, references. External links, The World of Johan Cruyff Explore the world of Johan Cruyff. Biography of Johan Cruyff UEFA.com, Johan Cruyff's NASL stats Nostalgies.com, Johan Cruyff Player Stats @europefootball.com, Johan Cruyff Manager Stats @europefootball.com, International Football Hall of Fame, Johan Cruyff @euroifuf.com, Profile of Johan Cruyff Ajax NL, Johan Cruyff Player Profile Barcelona.com, Johan Cruyff Manager Profile Barcelona.com, Johan Cruyff FIFA Competition Record, Johan Cruyff Profile and Stats @World Van Orangi.